Hey everyone, Melissa here. How's everyone doing? My hair is super flat today. Super flat. I threw it up. I'm gonna post a video about my hairbrushes. So I have a short on that. But I did not wash my hair last night, and that is really rare for me. I wash my hair every single night. Um, but I've been sick like the last 3 days. That's why you haven't really seen my face much because I've been sick and I just haven't done videos face to face as much. So, what do I want to talk about today? Okay, so let's talk about there's a lot I want to talk about. Let's talk about family. So, um, I want to talk about the money side. And I'll talk about Kevin Leandro too. So, I'm going through a divorce, right? I am moving forward. I'm going through a divorce. I guess I'm going through a divorce on my husband's side. I did get some help with some stuff, and family is really important, right? Family is extremely important. Kevin Leandro's like, you better take these videos down or I'm going to sue you for slander. And I'm like, sue me for what? What are you going to sue me for? I don't really have a lot of money. That's what I remember Rocky said that. Sue me for what? Right? Um, and besides, my videos are talking about my divorce. If he doesn't like it, he doesn't have to watch it. He doesn't have to watch my videos. He doesn't have to watch them. So my videos, I'm talking about a lot about what's going on in my marriage. My marriage, I have hardly been given a voice for my marriage and what I think about my marriage and how I feel about it. What do I think? Nobody's really, talked about, well, my husband, no conversation. Do you think we should have a divorce? What do you think? What are your thoughts? Do you think, we can get past some things that are bothering me? Um, do you think I should just leave or whatever? No, he just left. And Reagan, I've liked Reagan, but I just learned like back in what was it, 1970 or something in California, he was the governor, and he actually came up with fault, no fault divorces. So, why are we seeing no fault divorces? A lot of conservatives don't want them. It's an easy way to get out of marriage. It's an easy way to not sustain, the family, to do your job, to do your duty. It's an easy way out, right? So, hold on. Bless me. Sorry about that. I told you I'm sick. So, um, no fault divorce shouldn't even be, I mean, it's not biblical. We don't need it. It's tearing down society left and right. We have more divorces, it seems, since we've had no fault divorce. We see it all around us. So back in the day, you had to have a reason to have a divorce. Um, and you have to prove it. You can't just say, oh, my wife left me in the truck. No, I didn't. I was like, my husband came over to the house all the time to shower, to eat, to do all kinds of stuff. But, we were even together later on. I mean, I still have a nightie. I have proof. So he went and he tried to use that to come up with something to divorce me. So, yeah. So Kevin Leandro's just like, I'm like, you chose to represent my husband. You chose to be evil. And then Kevin Leandro has accused me of having an attempted affair, chasing Mr. Bult in a real estate class to have an affair with him. Okay, so just to straighten everything out some more, I took a real estate class because I was trying to help find housing for my family. That's why I took a real estate class. I was like, shoot, I need to find more resources because the landlord looks like he's going to kick us out because he can't make up his mind. He wanted to sell So I think it was December 2021. Yeah, I took a real estate class. 2022, I was in it. Actually, I think I signed up for it in December. January it started. The time I got over here in May, I had pretty much finished up the real estate class. I had to finish it up in hotel rooms. I mean, literally, I'm like running from one hotel room to another, doing the class, trying to figure out how to get it done, trying to drive and listen to, someone from KW. I had no idea she was from KW. Um, and I also had some when I was at Carrabba's in Bedford, I had a couple men come in and they worked over there, and they're like, yeah, you ought to come over here and, work over here, etc. Did I know Gabe Bult was over there? I didn't really know that he was, I didn't know his schedule. I think I knew he was probably over there, but I didn't really know. And I knew Pastor Forehand was probably over there. And so I wasn't over there trying to have an affair with Gabe Bult. As a matter of fact, when I worked with Gabe Bult, and this is what I want to talk about with family, and his dad and everything, they helped me quite a bit. And I talk about this, and we're friends now and everything. So when I started working there, there were all these books in this office. All these books from Warren Buffett, is it Lynch? I don't know. All these famous names, right? I never heard of. Not Lynch. Maybe it is Lynch. All these rich men, right? So as I'm supposed to be cleaning, which I was taking down the books and I was looking at them. And as a homeschool mom, I always like to learn. And so I'm like, oh wow, this sounds interesting. And they were talking about investing, and I knew nothing at the time of investing, nothing. I had and not that long after that, I had taken a class on investing online, and I'm like, oh, this would be cool to learn. So I learned it. So I started learning about the S&P 500, stocks, dividends, and I started educating myself in finances. So as I have, followed Gabe Bolt's channel with his family, I have learned a lot and appreciate him. So, Leandro wants to turn something that is nothing into something. So, what I want to talk about along these lines is how important family is. And even though I never heard of the stuff that I know now, it's still important to have your family. Don't feel like you have to know everything to have your family. So there's a verse in the Bible, something like, when I was a child, I thought as a child. Now that I'm a man, I think like a man. Not me, like I'm a woman, but it means you're an adult, right? You think like an adult. So there is a time for childlike thinking. I've been thinking this week, it's been weird. I've been like, when these women get older, like I've seen different women, on social media, and I'm like, when they get older, what would they have done with investing in their life? And I'm glad I built on family. I really am. And I just did a video talking about addictions after an abortion. My abortion was forced. Pretty much I was manipulated, never knew what an abortion was until I was pregnant and in trouble. Then the word was introduced to me. So I talk about the addictions that can happen after a woman has an abortion. After an abortion, you feel super, super empty, right? Not only, I mean, do you have a broken relationship that you're trying to somehow overcome? Okay, you're in the midst of trying to figure out this relationship, but now you just lost a baby on top of it. You're the doctors, who I believe need to go to jail, they just killed your baby. A lot of girls don't understand that. And your womb is now empty. You feel like crap, basically. I mean, there is a moment of relief that you're not in trouble anymore. but you feel like garbage. Okay, so how are you going to solve that? How are you going to figure that out? Luckily for me, before I broke up with my boyfriend, there was already a boy in my girlhood emotion. I mean, I was changing. I was way too young to date at 15. And my father was the one who said I was too young, and he was correct. 15, naive, kind of a late bloomer, I was. So here I am in a adult relationship, and now I'm dealing with adult issues, right? Which I wasn't too young to have a baby, but I was too young to deal with that on my own. I definitely needed help. So we should be thinking of how do we help the mother so that so we can also help the baby, is how we should be thinking about it. So what I learned from that, and I had a mother-in-law say, "Oh, abortion teaches you, you know, you learn from that." It's like, what do you learn from having an abortion? Not to have sex again? Not really. So, so for me, I was put on the pill right away after the abortion. So the lesson was, for me, go ahead and have sex, just don't get pregnant. And what happens is when we divorce sex from marriage and from family, now that I'm a family woman, I see this. When we divorce it, we are hurting ourselves as women, and this is what the feminist movement did with us women. I mean, I used to read Cosmo, Miss Magazine, and I have Miss Magazine now only to look at what they're doing and online, and to look at their tactics to fight for babies. So basically, you learn this. It's how you're raised. I mean, you learn, okay, it's go ahead and have sex. But those addictions, I talk about eating addictions. I went down. I had an eating disorder. I mean, I went down, down, down. I'm dating this guy, and I'm in Pittsfield, New Hampshire. I'm hitchhiking. I'm skipping school. Someone who had perfect attendance. I'm now skipping school. I'm hanging out with losers, basically, okay? So I'm hanging out with these losers and just pretty much destroying my life because abortion brings you down. Luckily though, I mean, I did have somebody, and I look back at that, and I had someone, and he was kind of my escape from the whole abortion thing and the whole home scene. And then I was still dating him, and my mother was like, "Oh, maybe you'll marry him," because he had given me a ring. It was at we had a video arcade store in Epsom, and I was playing a video game, I think it was Pac-Man, and he had come up to me, and he had given me a ring. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, where did you get this and stuff?" And he's like, "I got it for you. I want you to marry me." And, I thought I was going to now marry this guy. And so he was fun. I had fun. I went to the mud races. Me and my friends, he was cool. We were all hanging out, going places, driving around. I now had my license. I didn't even have my license when I was dating my first boyfriend. So, we were just all hanging out and being cool and everything. So he was my escape. But, I had that, but that did not solve the problem. So from there, it was just like, I had worked at an ice cream place at the Circle, where the Care Pharmacy used to be, and I'm just eating and eating the hot fudge and the nuts on hot days because it's hot, and I'm just totally lost. I'm just eating, and then my mother's like, "Let's go get some clothes, Manchester, South Willow Street, to make you feel better." So I went and got clothes, and that wasn't helping. And then it was just like, me and my husband started dating. We were friends all since childhood. I just sent him a song as a goodbye, if that's what he wants, as a goodbye, a song to say goodbye. And it's the song "Everything Has Changed" by Taylor Swift. And to remind him of what we had, and he wants a divorce. We had a whole childhood together. We had a whole lifetime together. I mean, you're talking about, just tons of memories growing up with my husband. School was pretty much me and my friends. It wasn't so much, even though I graduated early, it wasn't so much about school to me. It was my social life is what school was. And, so I mean, I remember in art class he made like this ashtray, and I remember in, you know, just so many good memories. I mean, I almost like an idyllic childhood, us playing together, soccer, being dragged by my pants by the boys in school. I mean, the boys, I got bullied. I got bullied in school up until about sixth grade. But in third grade, like Tom Chanel, this kid would draw pictures of me coming from a spaceship. My husband and his buddies would take, spray and spray the chairs and say I have cooties. I mean, all this stuff I went through. And then sixth grade, the boys all started liking me. So because they liked me, they did a lot of pranks, snapping my bra strap to taking me by the pants and dragging me through the soccer fields and getting grass stains all over my pants. My mom was not happy about that one. Us playing soccer together, us going to the Harlem Globetrotter games, our field trips together, Hearts, whatever, turkey restaurant. I mean, just constantly busy doing stuff. And then when he broke up with me, what was it? No, we had a great summer together in 88, 89 at the pool, listening to Van Halen, always together. And then when he broke up with me, because I was going to college and I still went, it was just a couple months. And then he broke up with me after we lived together, and then there I just went down. I just did not care anymore, and I mean, I still have stories. I mean, I have stories of walking down the street and drinking with just a bra and underwear on with my girlfriends. I mean, I just did not care, and I was going the wrong way. So this is why I have a heart for girls, bad relationships, abortion, etc. And what I want to say is, I'm trying to get to this, is family is so important. And I see it even more now, that, it's just something worth fighting for. My husband doesn't want to be married anymore. Well, I gave him a choice. He chose to sign divorce papers, and truly, if he wants that divorce, he can have it, but that's not how I feel. I feel marriage is important. I feel from the beginning I said it's not biblical. It's not biblical. It doesn't matter if you're feeling a certain way. Marriage, I guess, just even this last week I've been reading more about divorce, and you are supposed to stay married. It's the very foundation of society, right? So when I got married, I loved my husband, but I also was half in and half out the door. I was like, all my aunts and uncles were divorced. It was just a piece of paper. And so I went into marriage because I had broken relationships already, thinking, all right, if it doesn't work, it's just a piece of paper. If it doesn't work, we can have a divorce. So do not go into marriage with that mindset. And that's kind of, I didn't really have anything. And then I became a Christian and my whole life changed. And besides being married, having my son, one of the best things that ever happened to me was having my son. And then going to God was the very best thing that ever happened in my life. You got to be able to turn your life around. You got to be able to do that. And so even now, as I'm going in a certain direction in my life, even though I have a lot of obstacles to keep fighting, I've got that. I'm going that way. And what I was going to say at the beginning of this was, when you don't have a lot of money, still have kids. So I think to think like a child is, I mean, I even look back and, I was out shopping. Me and my husband were dating, and he was spoiling me. He was buying me shoes. We went to the mall. He was buying me, like, I wanted this little teddy bear with a topaz, my birthstone in it, and he brought it for me. He brought me stuff. and that made me happy then. I was a very, I didn't use him for money at all, but I was a little bit materialistic because that's what I had grown up with. And so, and I didn't have anything else. I mean, I was all on the outside. So then as we had our kids, I had to learn to be very minimalist. I had to learn it. And it wasn't by choice. It was by, you chose to stay home. Well, I did choose that. You chose to have kids. You chose to use the resources. And now you're going to have to choose to be frugal because you want to stay home. And I had put down a career twice. Once was for court reporting, which I went for the money. And then the other one was for hairdressing school because I kind of liked beauty. So, I mean, I could have had money, but instead I said, nope, kids are more important to me. I always have loved kids, and I'm staying home with my kids. So the point is, here is even when you don't have money, I think that's normal. I think it's normal. I look back and think about my teen years when my husband and I went to the movies and we went out to eat and we were building our dating life. I think that was normal. For me to think back then, oh, I should be saving money, it wouldn't have happened because I thought like a child, so to say. And then when I, even though I was a teen, and then when I got married, you mature a little bit more. And then when you have kids, you mature. So there's certain stages in life. And what I'm trying to say is I did know how to be quite minimalist living in a trailer for 23 years. I did know that, and I did what I could, and I did the best I could, and I did well with all the resources we had and everything. For what we had. We had nothing. When I went to the food pantries, they're like, you're 3 times below the poverty level. And I'm like, well, I'm busy staying home with my kids right now, and I'm going to keep on trucking. Money's not the priority for me. And then later on in life, I'll have more. So now, like I talked about this with Leandro and everything, I have watched tons of financial videos. Bult, the Bult family has helped me a lot. My finances, my mindset toward finances is totally different now. And I think that is normal as a woman. As you get older, you want more security. As a woman, you might not care about money, but you want more security. I think you want your family around even more, a little bit more, because you're like, I need grandkids. You're like, when I was in my 40s, I was like, no, I am not ready to be a grandmother at all. And I definitely could have been. But now I'm like, now I feel ready to have grandkids. And I think there's a time for that too. So don't feel like, I guess what I'm seeing young girls right now say, I have to have everything in order to have kids. And like I was talking to a lady who worked in the jewelry stores, and she's like, do you know what girls are doing right now? They're coming in with these huge rings already, huge rings, and they want it all now. And so they'll come in and they'll buy their own engagement ring. And a bunch of us women were talking about this. I'm like, my ring was at a pawn shop for $10. I had picked a stupid $10 ring just so that we could get married at a pawn shop. But she's like, they're coming in now and they're like, oh, I want the best of the best kind of thing. I want this big ring and I'm going to buy it for myself and he'll never know. And she'll be like, this lady's like, what do you think? He's blind? What do you mean he's not going to know you've got this huge engagement ring on your finger? And we were laughing about it. And a lot of us women were talking about how we started off with nothing. And I think that is the way, for the most part, it's supposed to be. And then as time will tell, time goes on, then you have things. Not all at once. And it's building, it's a slow process. It's getting down your mothering skills. It's getting down your marriage skills. It's getting to know your in-laws, getting to know, there is a lot there, extended family. And I don't think, when I was dating my husband, I was going to the family reunions and I was meeting his family. There was a lot of time put into family. I mean, we were over his parents every single week. We were over at my parents every single week. So, to think of me working at that time wouldn't have made sense because we were trying to build. So, so when you get older and your kids are gone, especially when they start having their own family, like my son was married, and it's just like you guys enjoy your life. You guys enjoy your marriage and your family because I'm busy doing my own thing now. So I think there's a normal progression in life, and I don't think we have to have it all together financially, is what I'm trying to say, in order to have a good life. But now that I know what I know and stuff, I think, yeah, you definitely should have, I mean, I just finished, I'm just now an empty nester after 30 years of putting into my marriage. So I can just save, save, save. You can do it that way. Or you can do, you can slowly, slowly save a little bit at a time as you have a lot of children. But I think what the factor is going to be is how you do it. So for me, staying home and homeschooling was really the priority for me. And then my husband had cancer. So any money we would have had saved up until 3 kids would have been gone with the cancer. It just would have been wiped out. Instead, we had the resources, and then, we were again building again after that. And then with this whole divorce, I mean, we would have had everything again. We would have been secure financially. And, but he chose to leave. And so now I have to rebuild again. So just don't think that, hey, I can't have family because I don't have money. Go with what you know. Okay, thanks for joining me, guys.